I turn to 1 Samuel chapter 15. Good morning, Hadassah and the Witherspoon family. Say hello to your husband for me, Rob. How are the babies doing, Hadassah? Good, 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 good. Good to hear. Good to hear. Well, we got a beautiful sunny day today. It's a little bit cloudy right now, but it's really nice. Good, good. I'm glad you were edified and were able to get some information out of that. Oh, about the charcoal. Yeah, that charcoal ain't nothing to play with. That stuff is powerful. Oh, you have rain? Mm-hmm. I don't know. This supposed to rain today? No, it don't supposed to rain here. But I was doing a little information, studying a little information, listening to a little information about Jackie Robinson. And one of the things I've always been suspect about is Black leaders, so-called Black leaders. And the reason why I'm suspect about Black leaders, because there seems to be a pattern. Whenever your enemies, you pushing the table, baby, with your knees. Whenever Shalom, Mariah, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. But what's that, Romans? Be therefore transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove that which is good, which is perfect, except Romans 12, 1 and 2. Yeah, Romans 12, 1 and 2. The Bible says, let's turn there, son. Read that for me. Romans chapter 12, 1 and 2. While he's getting that, I'm going to make my comments. So when I look at the news cycles, see, this is why we need more apostles, prophets, pastors, and evangelists that are born again. We really do need this, because I don't know what's going on here. We really do need. Now, we got a lot of those things, but they're not born again. We do have apostles, prophets, teachers, evangelists, and pastors, but they're not born again. And so that makes a world of difference. It really does. It makes a world of difference. You see? Now, I was looking at information, studying some information about Jackie Robinson and so-called Black leaders, even from a biblical standpoint of view, especially in a time of captivity, have always been very suspicious to me. And because it seems like the wicked ones always have a certain profile. And one of the profile stigmas that they hold is when they really not for us, they seem to get a lot of aggrandizement from our oppressors. They, our oppressors are always shoving our Black leaders in our face. And so to the casual thinking person, that should be suspicious in and of itself. That should be very suspicious. Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King. But you see, they don't be shoving, you see, they don't shove people like, what's his name? Paul Robeson. You don't hear them shoving him in our face. You don't see him shoving Elijah Muhammad. You don't see them shoving them in our face so much. But I'm going to deal with these type of leaders too. I'm going to deal with these type of leaders too, because they are suspect too. Even the radicalized ones. Huey Newton, I can't even think of nobody else now. But even the radical ones, you got to watch this stuff. You got to watch this stuff. Hey, Sean 24 Price, how you doing? Shalom, shalom. You got to really watch this stuff. I came across the news story where the 74-year-old elderly Black man was gunned down after being randomly chosen by a Black man that was upset at some woman. Yeah, I saw that, and I saw that, and I'm listening to some of the outrage that's around that, the expressions of outrage around that, and I really wonder what's really going on with that. I'm not saying that Israelites can't do anything wicked, but I just really wonder. I wonder about these stories. I really do. Now, I know the Bible says in Deuteronomy 28 that we're going to be smitten with madness. And this is certainly madness. It's certainly madness. And I started thinking about Manchurian candidates and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to expunge him of any responsibility or culpability or nothing like that. But, I look at this stuff and I'd be like, okay, all right. A brother going on a rampage over a woman. It just, I don't know, y'all. I just, it's fishy, y'all. I'm just saying, y'all. I'm not trying to always point to white daddy and white mommy and blame them, but the kind of stuff that they do. The kind of stuff that they're capable of, y'all. I'm just saying. It's just, come on. It was no reason for him to kill a 74-year-old guy. And then another thing that's interesting about this, you got white people running around with guns now looking for the Black guy. Well, we already know what this spells. This spells that they're going to just shoot random Black folk. That's what they already are forming a narrative around that. Just kill. Oh, well, we thought he was You know, he was acting suspicious. We feared for our life. You know, come on, y'all. You know the usual talking points. Now they're going to use this guy. They're going to use this guy as a catalyst for shooting random black people. See, y'all, I'm telling you, when have our enemies cared that much about us that when we start shooting us, they start coming and hunting us to protect us? Come on, y'all. See, oh boy, you know, come on, y'all. They don't love us that much that they're gonna go hunting for us. They're gonna protect us, caping for us. No, this is fishy, y'all. This is so suspect. It's so suspect, y'all. So suspect. Now white people are gonna they fearing for our life, and so they're gonna go on a hunting expedition of us to protect us while victimizing us. Y'all, come on. Thank you. PsyOps big time, y'all. Meanwhile, in California, you got white on white crime happening, and the police officers are standing back, letting it happen. The law enforcement are standing back and watching it happen. Come on, y'all. Stop, y'all. Just stop it. And then any Caucasian person that kills any random white person looking for this so-called black person who killed this so-called black person who is an elderly man. We don't know really who shot that guy. We really don't know who shot that guy. A white person probably shot that guy. Guess who they're going to blame for it, though? Guess who they're going to blame? They're going to blame the black guy. Y'all, y'all, it's just, oh, y'all, huh?
It was on video.
It was on video?
He was recording it.
Oh, he was recording it? Wow. He still could have been a Manchurian carrier. I'm telling you, I am so jaded by this oppression of us. My children are telling me that he filmed it with the video recorder. Y'all, they have stuff on video recording with them shooting us, and they question it. But if we camera with us appearing to shoot each other, it's conclusive. It's conclusive without a shadow of doubt. But you can have the same type of video, even clearer video. It gets off. Come on, y'all. Stop. I just, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm like this. No, I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize, y'all. What about Tamir Rice, y'all? Tamir Rice. What about the guy that was in Walmart and he was purchasing a gun? Around the corner, they lit him up and killed him right in the store on videotape. See, no, y'all. What about the guy who was with the mentally challenged boy, laying down on his back with his hands up on videotape, and they shot him 3 times? Y'all, I know we are not innocent, y'all. I know we not no innocent people. I know that, but I know we got enemies in high places and low places. Okay, if they gonna question stuff that's videotaped, If they're gonna exonerate people who are shooting people on videotape, and the FOI is gonna come and cape for them, y'all, I'm sorry, y'all. I just, y'all, I have a huge catalog where I could, on what I could base my reasonable doubt on. If they, why are we so quick to believe stuff on videotape, but they are not? Oh, well, it was on videotape. And well, he videotaped it. And you mean to tell me these police officers don't have video body cams on them? They have body cams on them. You hear them talking and everything, audio, video, and they still kill us and get off. So y'all, come on. Well, he had a videotape. We don't say that if a white person kill a black person. We'd be like, oh, okay, well, another one bites the dust. He was lying, but hey, yeah, you know. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Yeah. Y'all, I have reason to doubt these demons. I have reason to doubt these demons. And I'm not saying that we're an innocent group of people. But y'all, look at the riots that are happening, y'all. The police are actually on video camera. And that was probably staged, saying that they standing back. They just standing back. You got to speak to our Department of Public Affairs. We have no comment. You are civic servants, civil servants, and you're not going to give an explanation. But the reason why, guess why? It's white on white crime. It's white on white crime. Oh, see, it's white on white crime. They're talking about bringing the National Guards to Chicago. They talking about bringing, why? Because blacks are killing blacks? Shut up. Y'all don't care nothing about us killing each other. Y'all want to use that so y'all can kill us and create concentration camps of the ghetto. Forget about a Walmart. We're just going to make the ghetto a concentrated camp, a FEMA camp. That's all they're going to do. They're going to cordon off the ghetto. You're going to have to go through checkpoints. Thank you. Prince Albert law and all this kind of stuff, martial law. And guess what? The ghetto is going to be the FEMA camp. The hell with a Walmart. The hell with a Walmart. They're going to make the ghetto out of a concentration camp. The hell with them Walmarts that they're closing down. Please. And let me say this. Now, this is not even what I wanted to talk about, but this has really been on my heart this morning, and I've been really tempted not to talk about this because I wanted to talk about King Saul. But let me say this. Let me say this, y'all. The world is pretty much a concentration camp right now. And it's been that way for hundreds and thousands of years. Out of our land. If we never had rebelled against our power, there would be no such thing as the world being a concentration camp. Let's talk real business here. Good morning, Raphael. How you doing? Shalom. Let's talk real business here. The world would have never turned into a concentration camp, especially for us, if we would have obeyed our Elohim. Never. Never. So what I want to say to you is this. All our so-called black leaders, black civil rights leaders, and black activists, they have all worked they have all been counter operatives to the Most High. Every single one of them, even the ones with the best intentions. Malcolm X, Huey Newton, who else? Martin Luther King. What's his other guy's name? Marcus Garvey, Frederick Douglass. They've all been working as counter operatives to the Most High. All of them, y'all. And I'm not saying that these guys didn't have good intentions. Maybe Stokely, all of them. Y'all, please. Stokely Carmichael, all of them, y'all. Farrakhan, all of them have been counter operatives to the Most High. And this is why our enemies are so able, our so-called radical leaders, because they're working counter to the Most High, especially with what is perceived to be good intentions. Muhammad Ali, all these basketball players, Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, Al Sharpton, Barack Obama. Hey, y'all, they are working as counter operative to the Most High. Rosa Parks. What's his name? George Washington Carver. All these people that they slam in our face during Black History Month. They always shoving these people down our throats. You know why they shoving them down our throats? Jack Johnson, Fred Hampton, exactly. All these people have made it worse for us. They actually are creating an industry where our enemies are able to keep us into subjection. Now, some of these people, we wouldn't even call them coons because they're so radical. But in the Most High's eyes, these guys are counter operative, super sub COINTELPRO agents when it comes to the agenda that the Most High has for us. They are the Most High would accuse these guys of treason. Why? Because he would say, why did you guys never ever tell all this information, as smart as all you guys were? Why you never told my people that they were the Israelites? Why you didn't tell them what was the true remedy for their plight? No, it's not no daggone economic empowerment. Economic empowerment ain't never been our problem. Yeah, exactly. The black banks. Black banks are counter operative to the Most High. I know this sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds like my hinges have come off the jam door. All these people, thank you. You got the spirit, Mariah. W.E.B. Du Bois, all these guys, y'all. Every single one. Why won't, as smart as all these guys are, why won't they tell us we Israelites? I'm going to tell you why. Because every one of them were steered into the positions, mindsets, and formed by groups like CIA, FBI, That's what I believe, y'all. Because it ain't no reason why you supposed to have all this intelligence, all this super wisdom, all these well-read guys, but nobody know we Israelites. Come on, y'all. Now, when I was a teenager, you could fool me, but you ain't gonna be able to fool me like that. I'm not even as smart as any of these people. But I know I'm an Israelite, and I always had a notion that I was an Israelite on a conscious and a subconscious level, mainly on a subconscious level. I really wasn't conscious, but when I would open up the Bible, because I've been studying it most of my life, I was like, boy, this sound like us. Boy, this sound like us. I think I even used to tell my brother and my mother when I was a little boy, Mama, this sounds like us. Mama, this sounds like us. Now, you can't tell me as a little boy I'm more intelligent than Martin Luther King. Come on. The guy had a PhD. I know this, and Ben Carson don't know this. How is that? That's impossible. I didn't even graduate from high school. What in the hell is going on? What in the hell is going on? That a high school dropout. These guys got more alphabets behind their name than all the alphabets in every language. And I know that I had a notion, a subconscious notion as a child, reading the Bible, just casually reading the Bible. Didn't know no Hebrew, didn't know no Greek, didn't know no lexicon, never read a papyrus or Dead Sea Scroll. I said, boy, this kind of sounds like us. I really felt a spiritual connection to the Bible when I was 13, 14, 8 years old. Why? This is before I even graduated from grammar school. But we got people that got PhDs, presidents, and vice presidents, and they don't know this? Y'all, please. We got all these intelligent rappers that are well-read. We got scientists and engineers and physicists and biologists and wait a minute. Wait, I know I'm not no more intelligent than these guys. I'm way at the bottom on intelligence. How is this information getting past them? How? People that are millionaires and billionaires. Exactly, Mariah Israel. See, I'm going to tell you something, y'all. These leaders that we have that are out front, that are pro-black and hard, and like people like General Yohana. See, I'm real suspicious of General Yohana. I ain't fulfilled by all that hard talking and white daddy and Esau. It's just so over the top. It's suspicious. It's just so over the top, y'all. It's like, boy, it just sounds like a demon is at work here. This is not even genuine. It's not even genuine. It's nowhere close. Dr. York, all these guys, Sinetta, all these guys, they all cut out of the same cloth. And I'm talking about the Hebrew Israelites too. They cut out of the same little black power cloth that the CIA has formed, and they have handpicked guys to lead these groups. So, You know, the rhetoric is just so over the top. It's like, well, wait a minute, brother. Esau, 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 Esau. It's like, brother, you sounding suspect. You sounding real suspect. Irritated Genie, Umar Johnson, all these guys. Phil Valentine, Tariq Nasheed, all these guys. It's like, Francis Cress Welsing. And I'm not saying that they are not bringing forth some valuable information, some pertinent information. I'm not saying that, but it's just suspect, y'all. A lot of this is suspect. Why won't Francis Cress Welsing in her book called The ISIS Paper, why she didn't tell us that we the children of Israel? Yeah, Bobby Herman, all these little jokers, you know, it looked like this is some niche market that our enemies have concocted, and they are steering the whole thing. They got the reins of the horses in their hands, and they're guiding this thing where they want it to go. And the people that's at the bottom, like me and you, we just jump on because these people are black and they talking black power, black power, black power, GD, black power, GD. Okay, rah, rah, rah. We still in slavery. If we got so much black power, why are we still slaves? So so what I'm suggesting is this, y'all. We need Israelites that are born again, apostles, prophets, teachers, pastors, and evangelists, like the Bible says in Ephesians chapter 5. And when they see news events, they know how to process this stuff and masticate it where the masses of Israelites can digest it and break it down even further. And break it down with their skill sets, because they're born again, even further. But we're not doing that. The people like Roland Martin and stuff, the way that he reports things and the vein in which he talks about news events, it needs to totally be reported over again with a spiritual eye. It really does. Tariq Nasheed, same thing. Same thing. I'm not saying they don't bring out any pertinent information, but the way that it's looked at needs to be looked at with an apostolic, prophetic, pastoral, pastors, evangelistic, and what's that? A teaching, an Israelite teacher's eye. The fivefold ministry, yeah. See, the way that we process information, news events, wars, foreign affairs, all that stuff needs to be recategorized, reprocessed with a mind that's born again, that's an Israelite. Even if you're not an apostle, prophet, pastor, teacher, or evangelist. Even if you're not of the fivefold, but you got a skill set, you got an anointing on you where you can see, well, this is the way we should be looking at this as it relates to a people in captivity. You notice that, yeah, all that, Cynthia G, all of them, you know, all of them, all of them. You know, I want to hear news from people that's processing stuff from a perspective of a people in captivity and are Israelite. That's going to make a world of difference. That's going to make a whole world. That's a whole paradigm shift. And what it's going to enable us to do is to be able to create a niche industry that's targeting us that other nations are not going to be able to come in and replicate. Why? Because you're going to have to be an Israelite. Now, I'm going to suggest this too. See, these are some ingredients on how we should be running a nation. A nation. These are ingredients. And this is what I'm not hearing. I don't want to keep hearing about Esau like that. I'm really, no. I don't want to hear about Esau like that. Because that's got old. That got old with me the first year that I found out that I was an Israelite, for real, for real. That got old in like 3 months. I was like, that's all they talk about is Esau. The first month I was burnt out because I felt that something else is, it's other things that need to be addressed that's not being addressed. And that Esau stuff was just a buffer. It's just like a decoy of sorts to blind you from the forest. You focus on Esau, so you focus on the tree, so nobody sees the forest. So I was like, okay, something suspicious about this little Hebrew Israelite stuff. Something is really, really, really suspicious with all this talk of Esau. It's just too suspicious. Whitey and oh boy, it's just like, okay. So what we're going to need now, I'm going to tell you something. When we start looking at our situation as a people in captivity in the various nations around the world, from the divine paradigm, that's why he said, let this same mind be in you that is also in Mashiach Yahushua. Why? Because when you have that mind and you hear of news events, world events, foreign policies, legislation, you're going to process that stuff with the mind of Yahushua, not with the mind of a black person that's just an American. No. That stuff will get you. That stuff gonna keep you right where we're at right now. You see? So yeah, we're gonna have to see. Let me tell you something. This is what I see. I was contemplating this morning as I was listening to Tariq Nasheed this morning. I'm not advertising for him, but I do listen to his station. I'm subscribed to his station. But I know that I can't be thinking, and it's very dangerous to be thinking the way that man thinks. Very dangerous. On that black power tip stuff, but he's kind of like wishy-washy with it. But anyway, hey, P. Holmes, how you doing? Shalom, shalom. So what we're going to have to do as a people, we're going to have to create industries that's specifically for us, that are done by us, that are automatically undermined if any other nation of people do it, because they don't have the experience that we have. And once we are set up as the authority of whatever it is, be it news, be it clothing, style, now they're going to copy it because that's what they do. They appropriate everything that we do to themselves. That's fine. But we can't be patronizing. We can't be saying, well, they do it just as good as us. No. But you're not us. That's the problem. You see? And not only that, this is going to embellish your pockets. This is going to fatten your pockets if we allow you to appropriate our stuff and then we patronize it, putting our stuff out of business. You know, that's what the civil rights movement was all about. I want to tell you, the civil rights movement was nothing but a psyops to kill Black businesses. That's all it was. That's what the civil rights movement was. It was just a government psyops to kill the Black businesses and the Black family. Make it legal for Black men to get with white women. And basically, that's all it did. Martin Luther King got duped. Martin Luther King got duped. And let me say this. The Most High had his hand in the whole thing. The reason why the Most High had his hand in Martin Luther King being and Rosa Parks and SNCC and all of these little organizations was Marion Barry. He was a part of SNCC too. And all these organizations being what else? Being the figurehead of this movement is because it was being fed by our oppressors. I believe SNCC was a psyops, part and partial of the psyops program of our enemies. And we fell for it. And look at our neighborhoods now. Look at our families now. What's the takeaway from the civil rights movement? I'm going to tell you what it is: an abomination. What's the takeaway from the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment? Another abomination. These people are way more clever than we think. They have think tanks where that's all they do is think about how to snare us in their traps. Right. That was the whole part of the plan. That's always the part of the plan. If our leaders wake up, it's a reason why they're killing them. It's more than that they're waking up. It's because they're going to try to counteract what they're doing. That's what brings about the assassination. They say, "Uh-oh, they got him wiretapped. They got him following. They got Black people around him that's working for them." And they're like, "Yeah, he about to pull the trigger on this thing." And they're like, "Okay, we're going to kill him tomorrow." That's how it works, y'all. That's how it works. That's how it works. This is why we have to have spiritual discernment. And I'm not deceived by fiery rhetoric. I don't care how good and eloquent it sounds. I'm not deceived by that. I'll get on the rah-rah, but after the rah-rah is over, I'll be like, okay, that was a bunch of garbage. I'll be like, okay, we've heard that before. Now, you know, where's your A material? Okay. That's what I'm like. Farrakhan. Justice or else. What has happened since he said justice or else? What has happened since he said justice or else? I tell you, we've been getting killed in the streets like never before since he said that. Hello. See, they don't just threaten you. They're not just going to threaten Farrakhan, y'all. They got to threaten to kill everybody in his family and all the heads of his organization. You see, they're going to go in for the guts. They're not just going to kill no Farrakhan. There's no value in just killing Farrakhan to stop a movement. You got to kill the heads, or the head. And the head represents a group of people and their families. Just like they tried to do in Egypt, y'all, when they tried to kill all the firstborn of Egypt. They weren't going to just threaten to kill, they weren't just looking for the deliverer. They say, okay, in order to get the deliverer, we're going to kill all the children, for all the firstborn. Same thing in the days of Herod. And most people, that threat is enough to make them do whatever that needs to be done. Same thing with Jackie Robinson. You know, they are grooming leaders. And see, this is why character is so important. In any revolution, you need way more than fiery rhetoric. You need way more than fiery rhetoric. You need character. This is how they're able to maneuver and manipulate easily, because they don't have character. They got stuff on them. They got these men in between a rock and a hard place, while they are spewing fiery rhetoric. Supremacy don't worry about no fiery rhetoric, man, please. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Farrakhan been neutralized. Farrakhan was neutralized in the 80s. Okay? Farrakhan was neutralized way in the 80s, man. In the late 70s and 80s. I saw that when I was a teenager. Okay? He was neutralized when I was in high school. Okay? And when I was in high school, in junior high, I knew that he was, I was like, you know, I was feeling a certain way about Farrakhan in the 82, 83. Something was going on back then. Yeah, they'll let him spew his fiery rhetoric, because they know that's all he got. And we know that's all he got because he's still alive. You see, they ain't killed none of those rubber cops, those little armless cops or bodyguards that stand around him, right? There you go. There you go. Remember, y'all, I was raised in Chicago. I was raised all up and down 79th Street, where they supposed to so-called be holding it down. They ain't holding down nothing. Exactly. All these fiery rhetoric, strong guys, you know, Khalid Muhammad, I look at him as a person that was flip-flopping between being an Israelite and a Muslim. He was like straddling the fence. And I looked at Khalid Muhammad as one of the more genuine ones that was having an internal struggle with holding on to the Islam. Because I really do believe he knew that we were Israelites. And just like 2.5 years ago when Farrakhan came out and said that we are Israelites, I was like, okay, and? Okay, so you Israelites, but you got your last name is after a Muslims? Okay. Okay. So, you know, but you go join the Scientologists. All right. Okay. This is just, you know, The Bible says, I'd rather for you to be hot, Revelation 14:14-18. I'd rather for you to be hot or cold than lukewarm. The Bible says that you cannot serve two masters. You're going to either love one or hate the other. He still calls Master Farad Muhammad God. And that guy's a white man. But then he turns around and says, we're Israelites. But then he go join the Scientologists, sells his people out to the side. Okay, Farrakhan, you need to take several seats, brother. Just take several seats and shut your damn mouth. I don't mean to get wild, but my apologies. But you know, Farrakhan just need to sit down. But he can't. They're not going to let him sit down because white people are still lifting him up as our figurehead, as a figurehead of ours, as a prominent figurehead. The reason why Farrakhan is so high is because he is being held up by white mommy and white daddy. So guess what that makes him to us? An enemy. An enemy. A clandestine enemy. You either force, you're a rider or you're not. You know, I ain't got time for all this. So yeah, we need a strategy of people where we have a code of conduct. And the code of conduct is based on the fact that we are born again and we are Israelites. And we need to be perfecting our character so we can have leaders that are after the heart of the Most High. Yahuwah. That's what we need. That's what we ain't had since we've been here, y'all. And I want to tell you something. You're going to start seeing you're going to start seeing more Hebrew Israelites getting killed. You're going to start seeing more Hebrew Israelites getting killed. Why? Because we ain't born again. And we're fronting, we're perpetrating a fraud. Especially ones in these camps. And these little, you're going to see a lot more of even Hebrew Israelites that are not a part of a camp, but they're practicing stuff and they're applying for sovereignty and all this stuff. Leave all that sovereignty stuff alone. If the Most High wanted us to be sovereign, he would have us back in Israel. Sovereign in the land of your captivity. Hello. How are you going to be sovereign in the land of your captivity? So we already know that you're on something crazy. We already know that you're on something crazy. You're not listening to the Most High. You're looking for sovereignty from your enemies by applying for some papers. And then you got stupid people coming on the internet talking about, oh, it's nothing wrong with applying for sovereignty. That's a legal procedure that the United States affords to citizens. Shut up. You sound stupid. So the reason why we're in captivity is because we haven't applied for sovereignty. Stop it. Stop. Just stop it. Stop the madness. That family over there in New Jersey that just got locked up, and I'm trying to find some news reports on what happened to the mother, because I believe that she was supposed to be sentenced on this month on the 12th. Y'all, you're not going to be able to apply yourself out of this captivity. And the Most High is using them as an example. The Most High is using them. Oh, let me get back to this, y'all. I ain't even talking about nothing I'm supposed to be talking about, but that's all right. I might change the title of this. But anyway, y'all, wow. Let me tell you something, y'all. This stuff is just not making sense to me, y'all. Now, the civil rights movement was a PSYOPs program. The civil rights movement was a PSYOPs program to destroy the black family and black businesses. Now, watch this. Why did the Most High, okay, get this phone here, get the phone, somebody. See what that is. I'm expecting some calls this morning. Just answer and see who it is. Hello? Exactly. But there is a lot of sunlight for who is that, baby? What are they talking about? Just hang up on them. Hang up on them. Tell them don't call here no more. Oh, yeah. You know, these people bugging you all day. I mean, do they call the rich people like this? Because they sure call the poor ones. This telemarketer is calling you early in the day. Come on, soon as 9 o'clock here. They're on the phone, you know, blowing your phone up. Good grief. But anyway, I don't mean to be rude, but good grief, man. As soon as it hit 9 o'clock, they start calling. And they're going to call the poor people because they know a lot of poor people are gullible and want to get out of poverty. And that's the main object of their life, is to get out of poverty. So they call the poor people because poor people are willing to risk money to get something for nothing. but you called the wrong one, baby. You called the wrong one, baby. I ain't trying to get something for nothing. They don't call rich people like this. I got rich people in my family. They don't call them like this. I'm like, why they don't call y'all like this? Please. But anyway, let's get back to this. I want to show you. I want to show and explain, show and tell you. This is show and tell time. Why the Most High allowed for our enemies to come in and destroy all our economic empowerment right after Jim Crow. Because we started making a god out of black economic empowerment. We did, in other words, we replaced, we still didn't, after slavery, we started, first thing we wanted to do when we came out of slavery is, guess what? Get houses and land. Did you hear me? The first thing that we wanted to do when we got out of slavery was get houses and land. Without the Most High, without our power. We say, you know what, we don't need our power. We just need houses and land. And the Most High said, oh, you want houses and land? Okay, I'm going to withdraw my spirit from these devils over here. They're going to start the KKK and they're going to start hanging y'all. How about that? And they're going to start confiscating your land. The little land you got, they're going to kill you on it. Y'all know that's exactly what happened. I'm not just talking off the top of my head. Soon as black people got out of slavery, we wanted Yahweh Shai. No, we don't want no Yahweh Shai. We want lambs, hams, raw, mauled, chicken, turkey, you name it. Literally, that's what we wanted, y'all. We wanted land, hog, malls, chicken, turkeys, houses, land. And the Most High said, oh, so I let you out of slavery. I gave you a little bit of reprieve. And this is how you thank me. Okay, hey, Ku Klux Klan, come on. Why don't y'all get y'all little party started over there. Get y'all party started over there. Because they are getting uppity. We are getting uppity, but not so much to the white people, but to the Most High. And so that's why you saw so many lynchings, y'all. Y'all, none of us would have gotten lynched. None of us would have gotten lynched if we would have say, you know what? We got our freedom not to have houses or land, but we want our freedom to worship our Elohim. Where is that in the history books? Where is that in the history books? Hello, where is that in the history books? That when we came out of slavery, we was like crying out and praising the Most High and asking him, what do you want us to do? We didn't do nothing like that, y'all. We turned into demons. We ran straight for the God of Mammon. We ran straight to the God of Mammon coming out of chains. Straight to the God of Mammon. And then the black codes and the black laws and Jim Crow and all that stuff, the Ku Klux Klan stirred up. And the Most High was going to use all that stuff as a vehicle to get us back to him. Y'all, we ain't got back to him yet. And the Hebrew Israelites, this Hebrew Israelite stuff is doing worse damage to us than anything else. We still ain't coming back to him. We getting so off, y'all, it's crazy. So the Most High during the Civil Rights Movement, see, the only type of people that's going to be able to give you this type of perspective that I'm giving you about these historical events is an Israelite that's born again. You can't get this from no CNN, no Roland Martin. As smart as that guy is, and well, you can't get this perspective. Bobby Hermit, Sonetta Polite, you can't get this. You can't. And this is one of the reasons why what I'm saying is not plagiarism. It's not plagiarism. I could listen to anybody and give you a whole different perspective on it. Why? Because I'm focused on my people. I'm focused on my power. You could do the same thing, y'all. You don't have to be a prophet, apostle, pastor, teacher, or evangelist for that. All you have to do is be born again and say, and just give your mind and heart to the Most High. He'll do the same thing for you that he's doing for me. Same thing. That's why the Bible says, who then is a wise and faithful servant whom he shall find? Who is a wise and faithful servant whom he shall find giving meat in due season? See, our enemies can't give us. Let me tell you what's going to happen, y'all. What's going to happen? What's going to happen, y'all, when we start focusing on the real stuff, the way it's supposed to be focused on, the way it's supposed to be studied, digested, regurgitated, guess what that's going to do to other nations that love us? That's going to make them our allies, and they're going to come up under us and start reporting stuff the way we would, but from their perspective. And their perspective is going to be allied to our perspective. But because we're so far away from our God, even as Hebrew Israelites, they can't even get up under us. Because we're still thinking like white mommy and daddy as Israelites. Oh, Lord. They can't, the people that would cape for us can't even do it because we're not being the light of the world. They can't even come up under us and be allies because we just not fit. If they come under us as allies, we would betray them. That I'm telling you, I'm talking about as Hebrew Israelites. They just can't come up under us. We're not sold out to our Elohim. We're not. We're not. We're still being controlled by our oppressors, even as Hebrew Israelite camps that who always standing on the corner talking about Esau, Esau, Esau. Don't believe those guys. Those guys, you just need to dismiss them as any credible source of anything. Just, you know, you're going to have the mind of Yahushua to be able to process what they're trying to hide and all that fiery rhetoric and all that. You have to be able to see past that. And your spirit is going to be able to sort through that stuff. It's going to be able to sort, and you're going to be able to find the truth. I'm not saying that that should be our main way of observing, finding, and being enlightened by truth. It's by sorting through garbage. But I'm just saying you will be able to differentiate between truth and error, what is bones and what's meat, because they are not able to do that. Why? They're not born again. Look at the way they carry themselves, y'all. Look at the manner in which they deal with the women, our women, other women of other nations. Look how they deal, y'all. It's just nuts. It's just crazy, y'all. But anyway, all right, you take it easy, Raphael. Shalom, brother. But anyway, I'm going to conclude right there. But yeah, y'all, whenever there's a pattern that the Most High has with us, he will allow the enemy to come in to spank us as a weapon of chastisement. And he will also have the enemy come in to prove us. You say, well, where's an example of that? There's an example of that in the book of Job. He proved Job, and Job wasn't doing nothing wrong. Look at all the wrong stuff we're doing, y'all, in our relationships, in our marriages, in our relationship with our children, our finances. There needs to be a whole paradigm shift in how we think about every single thing we've been taught. Even as Hebrew Israelite, that stuff need to be flipped over and reinvestigated with spiritual minds. And so the Most High is going to raise up more apostles, prophets, teachers, pastors, and evangelists, so we can have a body of Israel combined with these agencies that are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hid. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. So we're gonna have to start loving our women, our women, our older women, our women of experience. They're gonna have to start taking women under their wings and loving on them, teaching them how to be faithful wives, carry themselves, how to deal with the enemies, male and female. We need these kind of women. They are vitally important. Adam would have never been able to take over the world without a woman. I'm just saying. I'll say it again because somebody don't believe me. Oh boy. Adam would have never been able to take over and dominate the world without a woman. Never. It wasn't going to happen. Never. So I'm very, 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 very interested, keenly interested in us growing families, galvanizing our relationship with our mates, finding mates for our sons and daughters. That is very important. Making sure our children are born again. having an educational system for our children, starting in the home, if nowhere else. Homeschool is a must. Homeschool is a must in a perverted and wicked generation it's always been a must from us. When we came out of slavery, we should have never been trying to get in white schools. The reason why there's no National Black Negro League of baseball anymore is because the National Black Negro League was making more money than the what's that? The National Baseball League, whatever it is. The National Negro League was making way more money, and they had the best players in the world. But you know what happened with our people, right? The Most High didn't put us here to play no games, y'all. The Most High did not put us here to bounce basketballs and hit balls and golf balls and all this stuff and play hockey and gymnastics, run around on a balance beam naked doing flips, jiggling all over a volleyball court in some panties. The Lord did not put us here for that. And I'm going to tell you something. You're going to see more scandals and more criminalization of our athletes. Why? Because the Most High ain't put us here for that. He didn't put us here for that. You're going to see more of our men getting embedded into these white women and giving their wealth over to these white women and their white families. You're going to see more of that, y'all. Sports is a curse to us in our captivity. It's an abomination. Sports is an abomination for a group of people that were put into captivity because they left their Elohim. It's an abomination. Side plan. It's a psyops plan. That's all it is, y'all. It's counterintelligence. But you talk to brothers and that's all they want to talk about, Dwayne Wade and all. I'd be like, brother, I don't know nothing about none of that. They want to talk about, every now and then I might watch some little sport thing, but I'm not into no sports, really. I've never been into it. Never, even as a child. The type of sport I did was weightlifting, and that was it. For physical fitness, and that was about it. My parents tried to get me into football, baseball. That was the most boring stuff I ever seen. See, we want to come here. We want to come here and we want to get embedded. And let me say this too, y'all. It's nothing wrong as it relates to captivity, in the land of your captivity. It's nothing wrong with being a doctor, a lawyer. I mean, all these occupations have inherent hazards. All of them are fraught with all type of hazards, be they immunizations, be they taking you away from your family, long hours, building up their kingdom. They all fraught with that. But let's not forget and get simple. And we are in the land of our captivity, okay? But what we should do, this is how the Most High is going to bless us in whatever legal enterprise or vocation that we go into. If we do it, I'm not talking about getting into stuff where you got to break the Sabbath either. I'm not saying get into that kind of stuff, but I'm saying within reason, okay? We need to get into these fields so we can build our people and show faithfulness to our Elohim. But what we're doing instead is we're becoming doctors, lawyers, engineer, biochemists, computer programmers, and all that so we can build up our American black family. Doing that, it's a curse on your family because he didn't put you here to do that. It's a curse on your family. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care if you're a carpenter, Indian chief, whatever. If you're doing anything to be a good American, a good solid American citizen, don't you know that that's the one reason why the KKK got started? When we came out of slavery, we didn't even think about the Most High. He said, okay, I'm going to give you something that can probably wake you up. KKK, come on. Go ahead. Y'all do what y'all do, and let's see if we still didn't get it right. We started marching, then we started the civil rights movement. We shall overcome. During World War I and World War II, one of the things, the reason why the next stage of the PSYOPs plan was this. And this is the kind of stuff you're not going to get from somebody that's a Roland Martin or a Tariq Nasheed or a Cynthia G and all these type of people. You're not going to get this type of information from them because they deny that we're Israelites. So it's just doomed from the start. Phil Valentine and all these Sinetta, Polite, and I'm going to tell you, they're way more intelligent and well-read than I am. I will tell you that. So I'm not trying to take no props from them. They got it. But, you know, all the knowledge in the world, if you don't know who you really are, you are a fool. Okay? The person that just knows a little bit is way more intelligent than you are. You're denying who you are. You don't know who you are. You don't want to be who you are. And you got all this knowledge. You ain't nothing but a fool. You get played any given day. But a person that knows who they are, knows who they are and whose they are. Oh, please. They don't have to know a whole bunch of stuff. They don't have to. They got huge advantages. Huge. Even if they don't even have a lot of money or power or nothing or fame. They got advantages, brother. And don't let them have no character. Oh, boy. See, this is why I talk about character all the time. Because if we're going to do anything together, we're going to have to do things with character. The character of our power. That's what's going to give us success. He said, what's that? Ezekiel 11:16 or something like that. Let me see. Let me see here. Let's see. I hope I know where this is at. I think it's 11. Yeah. Ezekiel 11:16. Therefore say, thus saith Yahuwah, although I have cast them far off from among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet I love it, man. I love it. Yet. Now this is shouting stuff here. Woo! Yet I will be to them a sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. Oh, see, y'all, people got happy because of civil rights. People got happy because Barack Obama was president. People got happy because Harold Washington was the mayor of New York. Y'all ain't seen nothing. That's garbage. That is garbage. That is all stuff that's made for the scrap heap. That's garbage. He said he was going to be it was this scripture I was looking at the other day. It was in Isaiah, Isaiah 10. Let me see. I hope this is it. It was good. Boy, it was good. It's somewhere here. I don't want to read the whole chapter. This is a long chapter. Let me see. Here it is. I don't know if this is it or not, but it's somewhere in Isaiah 11. But he said that what he was going to do for us, it was something to the effect of what he was going to do for us in the land of our captivity, the success that he was going to give us in the land of our captivity. See, this is the stuff. Hey, Kodesh, how you doing? Kodesh Brown, how you doing? Shalom, shalom. Say hello to your family for me, your husband and your children. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. So, look at this, y'all. I'm just going to read, y'all. I don't want to read this whole chapter, but I read something here. Look at this, y'all. I'm just going to read, y'all. Isaiah chapter 10. Woe unto them. I think it's Isaiah 10. Or is it Isaiah 9? Maybe it's Isaiah 9. I'm going to start at 9. Nevertheless, the dimness shall not be such as was in her vexation. Nevertheless, the dimness shall not be such as was in her vexation. When at the first he lightly afflicted the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, and afterwards did more grievous afflict her by the way of the sea, beyond Jordan and Gilead of the nations. Don't that sound like the transatlantic slave trade? It says, nevertheless, the dimness shall not be such as was in her vexation. When at the first he lightly afflicted the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali. So they obviously in Israel, if it's the land of Naphtali and Zebulun. And afterwards did more grievously afflict her by the way of the sea. Don't that sound like the transatlantic slave trade, y'all? Watch this. Beyond Jordan, in Galilee of the nations. The people that walked in darkness have seen a great light. They have dwelled in the land of the shadow of death. Upon them hath he lighted his light shine. It clearly tells you that the light is going to shine on the people that's living in the shadow of darkness. Are we not in the shadow of darkness, y'all? Beyond the sea of Galilee, aren't we? Look at this, y'all. Thou hast multiplied the nations and not increased the joy. Their joy before thee, according to the joy in harvest, and as men rejoice when they divide the spoil. We were divided, y'all. The kingdom of Israel was divided from the kingdom of Judah in the time of King Solomon, or the king after the time of King Solomon, the king of Jeroboam and Rehoboam. Then he said, for thou hast broken the yoke of his burden and the staff of his shoulder. The rod of his oppressor is what? Broken, as in the day of Midian. For every battle of the warrior is he confused. Noise, the garments rolled in blood. But this shall be the burning and fuel of fire. For unto us a child is born. Unto us, who is us? Israel. Unto us a child is born. Unto us, Israel, Yashra'Allah, a son is given, and the government, what government? The kingdom that's going to be set up is going to be resting upon his shoulders, not our oppressors. And his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty Elohim, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government, the peace there shall be no end upon the throne of David and upon of his kingdom, to order it and to establish, and with judgment and with justice from henceforth even forevermore. The zeal of Yahuwah of hosts will perform this. The Elohim sent a word unto Jacob, and it hath lightened up Israel. And all the people shall know, even Ephraim, the 10 tribes, and in the inhabitants of Samaria, that say in the pride and stoutness of heart, the bricks are fallen down, but we will build with hewn stones. The sycamores are cut down, but we will change them into cedars. Therefore, the Lord shall set up the adversaries of Rezin against him, and join his enemies together, and the Syrians before, and the Philistines behind, and they shall devour Israel. Why? Because Israel are going to try to put up battlements, and they're going to try to make nothing that's been something that's been destroyed out of something. And the Most High said, I will bring the nations against you. And that's what the civil rights movement was. It was a type of embattlement that people were making. We shall overcome. We want equal rights. We want land. We want 40 acres and a mule. We want reparations. Be very, very scary. I'm gonna say scary, but be very, very fearful of all this talk about reparations. Be very fearful about that. Our people want reparations so they can live like white supremacists. They want to live like the oppressors so bad that they are asking for reparations. Y'all, it's a failure already. It's a demonic plot, a psyops program. All this talk about reparation is of the devil. First of all, the Most High is not going to even let it happen. So it's like a dog chasing his own tail. It's like a reparations, y'all. Why do we want reparations? So we could be more like the Most High? Heck no. So we can declare ourselves Israel? No. So we can worship our power? No. So we can worship white Jesus with a Cadillac and a nice house next to some white person, and our children going to school with their white kids. That's all we want reparation for, y'all. So we can have all of our money that they give us in reparations in the white banks. That's what we want, y'all. We want to support white supremacy. We want the noose of white supremacy to grow tighter around our neck via way of reparations. Stop it, y'all. Stop. Stop. We're choking ourselves to death. We are killing our children with this talk of reparation. We're killing multiple generations with the talk of reparations. And our enemies are going to do it without hesitation. Oh, reparations. Shut up. Tell me about no reparations. Well, okay, well, when they start passing it out, you ain't gonna get none. When they start passing it out, you're gonna give it right back to them by depositing it in the bank. Fool. You are a fool. We still running after money. You would have thought we learned something after slavery, when we was begging for 40 acres and a mule, and you didn't even get it. You think we would have learned something when we was had black businesses and Black Wall Street, and they took it from us, bombed us into the Stone Age. You would have thought we learned something with the civil rights movement. We ain't still running after money, still running after white education so we can think. We're running after education so we can think like white people, live like white people, live next to white people, put our money in white people's banks and keep them wealthy for multiple generations through fractional reserve lending. These demons. You got all these black people running around here like demons. Reparations, reparations. Shut up. It ain't no such thing as reparations. How you gonna have reparations and you gonna take the money and put it in their bank as soon as you get it? How? How is that reparations? They gonna give you reparations so you can. It's gonna be direct deposit. I guarantee you, if they're not gonna give it, but if there is reparation on any level, it's gonna be direct deposit into their pockets. Hello, hello. And you're going to have to get a permission slip, which is called a withdrawal slip. A withdrawal slip is a permission slip from white mommy and white daddy authorizing you to get your money. Hello, hello, hello. You got to apply to white mommy and white daddy to get your money out of white. You got to get their permission. It's white supremacy up and down. This is getting crazy, y'all. And y'all, I'm a high school dropout. I'm a high school dropout. I'm a high school dropout. And I know it's people that already know this stuff. This ain't nothing new. Come on, we've been played for fools. Oh boy, you give us reparations, it's direct deposit, it goes straight to the bank. It's the bank that's going to give us the direct deposit. The bank is going to give you a direct deposit and reparations and going to put it right in their bank. The money is not even changing hands, y'all. And then they're going to put a limit on how much money you can take out in a year, in a month. Y'all know what these devils do? Then they're going to think of some type of policy where they're going to say, you know what? You need a special insurance policy for your reparations money that's in the bank. So what we're doing, we're going to give you a real low policy to insure your money. That's basically a tax on your money. They're stealing money right out your hands, and you're going to sign up for the insurance. Oh boy. Oh boy. We're doing some real stupid stuff. It's like how we gonna, if we don't start thinking chess moves instead of thinking connect four and thinking uno. No, this is high stakes poker, y'all. This is the big boys game. This is like Chinese checkers, y'all. Okay? This is the matrix. We are the glitch. When you start thinking along the lines that I'm just skimming the surface on, I'm just skimming the surface. I'm not even going deep. I'm just skimming the surface. When you start thinking like this, y'all, you're going to attract some allies. When you start thinking like this, people are going to see it in your face. They'll be like, man, you're different. You just look different. You walk different. You behave different. You talk different. You shake my hand different. I was in the store one day and I saw a guy I hadn't seen in years. I seen this guy I ain't seen in 15 years. And he saw me and I had to focus on. I said, oh, I know who you are. And so I went to shake his hand. And when I shaked his hand, he said, man, That bring back memories. I said, what bring back memories? The way you just shook my hand. I said, how did I shake your hand? He said, I haven't ever had my hand shaken in my life like you shook my hand. I said, okay, how is that? And he showed me how he get his hand shaken since the last time I shook his hand. And I said, wow, that's an abomination. I said, men are shaking your hands like that? Yeah. I said, well, I would stop shaking hands with people. And when I shook his hand, I didn't try to destroy him by shaking it so hard. I just shook his hand. I just shook his hand in a natural way. I just shook his hand in a natural way. I didn't throw my hand up behind my back and I didn't do all that. I just shook the man's hand. I just shook his hand. I looked him in the eyeballs. I smiled at him, told him, and I shook his hand. I don't know. And he was like bedazzled by the way I shook his hand. I said, well, brother, if you are bedazzled by the way that I shook your hand, we are in a worse situation than I think. He said, brother, we are. He said, we are. Now, he hadn't seen me since I became an Israelite, but I could tell he was reading my spirit before I was coming out the line. And I was looking at him on the sly, and I could tell he was getting scared. And this is before I shook his hand. The brother was getting scared. He was just standing there staring at me, just like shaking his head with a little smile on his face, like he was happy to see me. But the brother was reading me. And I was like, He's like, boy, something different about him. Maybe he's seen some of my posts on Facebook. I don't know. Maybe he's heard through the grapevine. I don't know, don't care. But boy, I was about to, he better be glad. And the thing about it was so strange. He invited me to his house. I followed him over to his house. And I sat on his couch. And when he came in the house, he said, oh man, I just remember, I got to go to prayer meeting. I was like, well, why did you invite me over here then? He said, oh, I forgot about it. And I felt a certain way when he said that. The way his voice was saying it. I was like, okay. All right then, brother. Well, we'll get together some other time. Brother ain't called me since. He ain't called me. If he was really excited about seeing me, he would have called me, because he know how I be putting it down. He knew how I put it down when I was a Christian. Matter of fact, I met this brother in a Sunday school. But that's a whole nother story. That's a whole story. I met this brother in a Sunday school, and he was actually the teacher of the Sunday school. I don't really want to tell this story, but I'm going to digress. But anyway, in closing, I'm going to say this, y'all. We are not going to have power on any level, economic, relationally, health. We're not going to have no power as a people if we don't come back to our power. We're not going to have power. You can forget about it. If we are not willing, if we're going to be so selfish and continue to be so wicked as to think that we're going to have health, security in our captivity, economic empowerment in our security, longevity in our marriages and in our children's marriages, and we're going to keep that to ourselves, guess what? Y'all, it's a ticking time bomb. The Most High said, gather together, O nation, not desired, before the fierce anger of the Lord. And we like, fierce anger of the Lord. Okay, This thing should be engrossing the whole mind and the whole attention. We're not going to even have the type of success we should have on our jobs. I don't care what we do. We're not going to have the success on nothing if we don't gather together as a nation of born again people who are transforming our characters into the character of our power. Y'all, it's going to be nations that's going to see us and say, I want to get under them. No, I don't want to work with them. No, I don't know. No. They're on a whole nother level. I just want to work under them. I want to work under them. And I want to serve them the way they want me to serve them. It's going to be Chinese. It's going to be all kind of people that's going to want to get, but we don't want to get together with ourselves. And so the other nations just look at us and like, you know, they're like, boy, it'd be nice if the sons of God would get their acts together. It'd be nice if the sons of Yahuwah get their acts together so we can get our act together by getting under them. But we still selfish and evil and wondering if somebody's gonna. No, if you get spiritual discernment, you'll know who's trying to kill you. When I say kill you, I'm not talking about physically so much as I'm talking about they're trying to kill your ruach, your spirit in you to serve the Most High. That's murder, y'all. Whenever anyone is trying to kill your spirit, they are trying to kill the Most High in you. That's a crucifixion of sorts. Just to throw that out to you. But anyway, I'm going to get off of here because I got a busy day. Busy day. And I just want to let y'all know, I'm not trying to hurt anybody, y'all. I'm not trying to tear nobody down. I'm really not. I'm actually trying to do the total opposite of that. Everything I'm doing is antithetical to tearing you down. I know some of this stuff is painful. I'm telling you, y'all, a lot of times I be getting on here, y'all, and I be killing myself. I be like shaking my head, want to burst in tears because I be getting cut to death. This stuff is painful, the stuff that I'm talking about. It's rough. This is not easy, y'all, to say these things. And I can't hold it back. I just can't do it. I just can't. The chips just got to fall where they may. It's just, hey, you know, because I want to tell you, I ain't got it together, y'all. I ain't got it together. But I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best, y'all. So I'm going to get out of here and get my day going and get some things done and make some moves and all this kind of stuff. But this is Prophet 6, family prophet to the angel of the church, the Laodiceans who are Israelite. I'm going to change the title to this room. Hey, give me some thumbs up, y'all. I know it's not that many people in here. Give me some thumbs up or thumbs down or whatever. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here and you guys take it easy. And my last words to you is shalom.